Hello everyone, this is Greg from Mystery Honey, and I thought I'd do a little update seeing as I'm going back to the apiaries today. So I was going to do an oxalic vape, which is a varroa treatment, and I was going to do that today, but it's too warm and too humid. So warmth matters because it means the bees won't be clustering as tightly as I want them to be, and humidity matters because last thing I want to do is push more humidity into the hives when they're already trying to fight it off. Main job for today is going around checking for food and putting more on if it needs it. I'm also going to be looking for any dead outs because about now is when the hives who are quite prolific when it comes to eating during winter, they eat all of their food super quickly. So you get a lot of deaths at this time of year where they're just feasting when they really shouldn't be. Right, let's go in there. This time of year, there's absolutely nothing for the bees to feast on. So even though it's warm enough for them to go out and forage if they were able to, there's nothing to forage on, so they just stay inside the house. Unfortunately, this means that it can lead to them eating their stores a lot quicker, which is why I'm here. So I'm just going to go around and just check each hive, and hopefully it'll be nice and quick and nice and easy. So one way to test if a hive is running light or not is to heft. So I'm going to show you here. So if you see my hand, where is it? There it is. So if you see my hand, arm is completely straight, so I'm not going to be lifting with my arm at all. I'm just going to be using my fingers. So I'm just going to lift up. So 4 fingers. Oh, that is heavy. So I'm struggling to lift that with 4 fingers. That's what you want going into winter when it comes to a hive, especially a double hive like this where it's got 2 brood boxes. You want that to feel like it's glued down. Now the fact that I can lift that with 4 fingers means that this is actually surprisingly running out of food. Just because the weight of the wood and stuff like that is quite heavy. I'm quite noodly armed. I don't know if you can tell from my noodly arms. So some people may find it a lot easier to lift hive bodies like this with just their fingers, but I don't. I'm quite weak. So I'm just going to have a quick look inside. You shouldn't really do this in winter, but it's 12 degrees C, so I'm not going to cool the brood or anything like that, okay? So we'll have a quick look and see how it is. So here we are. Oh. So they've eaten all of the fondant that I gave them, and they're coming out the top. So the bees are still alive and happy as Larry, but they've eaten all that fondant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick another piece of fondant on there. What I may do though is I'm just going to crack this open. You shouldn't really do this, and I won't be doing it for all of them. I'm just doing this for you guys. So look, so cracking it open will open up the propolis that they've put along the edge. So really you shouldn't be doing this, but let's have a look. And that is a nice healthy hive. Look at that. That's lovely and full of bees. They're not clustering, but that's because it's warm. So what I'm going to do now is, because I've checked that, I'm just going to replace the fondant. That's easy enough to do. First, use a knife, cut through the fondant top layer like that. I usually do an X, and then what I'll do is I'll just pinch these edges back here like that. It shouldn't really matter. The bees can get through it, but it just makes things a bit more accessible for the bees. So you've got a lovely little bit of stickiness there. And then I've got all the bees here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to smoke these guys down. Make sure you always bring smoke. Even if you think that they're going to be lovely and clustered and they're not going to be out or anything like that, always bring smoke because bees are pesky. They always are pesky. They always do what you don't want them to do. So I'm blowing smoke at them now and they're deciding to fly up because it's nice and warm. And they can do. Oh, all right. I'm going to try and get them out of this. So a way of getting them out of this is to just move it to the side and lift it so it's upwards, because the bees will climb up and they should fly out back to their hive. So I'm going to transfer this over. Don't worry about the bees too much, they'll move out of the way. So as I lower it down, I'm just going to wiggle it a little bit, let them move out of the way, and there we go. Still got access to it, but they've also got access to the roof as well, so I'm not too worried about them being stuck up there. So get the lid. Oh. And put that on, like so. There we are. Right, that is done. Banging. Next we'll just have a quick look at my nukes, see how they're doing food-wise. So, I'm hoping these are absolutely heaving. And they are. Wow. So these guys definitely need some more food, because I've just hefted them and they are quite light. So I'm going to get some food for these now. So there are some feeders that you can get with special holes in the top of them so you can put dry food on it. But I don't tend to like them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I usually do and put it straight on the top of the frame. So I'm going to smoke them down if I can. Bees don't tend to listen to the smoke when it comes to winter, so or they're a bit slower on it. I'm going to remove this leaf that's managed to make its way in there. And there's a piece of fabric here, so this is when I was tapping them out. Look at that, they've already started chewing into it. So when I was tapping them out of the feeder, they all latched onto this, so I ended up leaving it inside the hive because I didn't want them to get hurt. As you can see, they've really just started chewing into the thing, haven't they? So I'm just going to leave it here. There's bees on it, but they should be okay. Right, so as you can see, they've eaten quite a bit of the food, so the cluster will be quite low down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick food on so they don't starve. Good kilogram, that should last them for a while. Okay, and I'm going to do that with the rest now. So here we have our first dead nuke. I've come to it, and the fondant hadn't been touched. Looking inside down, you can see straight through to the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. So all the bees are missing. So that's not good. And when you look down here, you can see some dead bees or very slow looking bees down there. Can't really see very well. This box is very heavy, so they've not died of starvation, but there are very few bees in there. So more than likely, they will have died of having too few a number in there. So what I need to do, because there's not many bees in there, one way to find out is if they've got bees at the entrance. Yeah, so they've tried to scoop out the dead bees from the bottom, and what's happened is they've just dwindled. So this colony wasn't big enough to survive winter. Now these bees that are flying in and out, these are robbers. So these are coming stealing that honey that is in this top box up here, and we don't want to do that because it can spread disease if these guys had died from disease. Now I'm not going to get a chance to check these for disease right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to block it off. I'll leave it on the vented one just to make sure that humidity doesn't build up and cause the honey that's in here to ferment. I'm going to close it off, and then I'm going to move it away so that this doesn't have a colony of bees in it. Now let's have a look at the next one. Yeah, these guys are heaving as well, so that's fine, and they've got fondant, so I'm just going to leave them to it. These guys are doing great. Sorted. I'm just going to go through all of these now and just see what's going on. Now this one I'm a little bit worried about because when I was moving these production hives here, I was seeing a lot of wasps moving in and out of this hive, so I'm a bit concerned that these guys are dead, so we'll find out together. No, these guys are thriving. Wowee. And they've got lots of food, so they don't need any more food. That's good. Banging. This is one of the hives from my production apiary that I've moved here, and looking at it, that is light. I can lift it with one finger, so these guys are in desperate need of food. The bees are still walking around, so there is enough food to keep them going. There is a cluster, so I'm just going to go get some food now. And what we have to do, move that, and just swap it out and just wiggle it a little bit, make sure that the bees move out of the way. Just leave that upright like that, and they'll fly back. Cool. Right, so finished at this apiary now. Gone through, unfortunately one nuke had died. It looked like they dwindled to nothing and just died off. It's really sad that that's occurred, but anything could have caused it. More than likely, the cluster just died off. The queen might have turned into a drone layer. I've not gone through the comb yet, so I won't find out until, I don't know, later on in the month or next month, or I don't know, in spring when I go through the hives. Other than that, I've fed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colonies. I know because I've got the plastics here. Always clean up after yourself. But yeah, everyone else seems nice, big, healthy. It's great. I even had some bees flying out and landing on me and saying hello, which made me very glad I wore the bee suit today. Right, but that's me done. Maybe next week I'll be able to do the oxalic vape, but seeing as it's so warm and humid today, I don't think that's going to be the case this week. So yeah, there you are, a little update. Hope that helps. Right, so I'm at my quarantine apiary now, and I'm going to go do those checks there. But I thought we're probably best leaving it here. It's already getting turned into a big long video. I hope to get the other videos uploaded as soon as I can, but I have to go through like several hours of footage, so I'm trying my best to get through it. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more like this from throughout the year, please see the rest of my videos. Hit subscribe as well, and I'd really appreciate it if you hit a like. But otherwise, have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.